Hello and welcome back to Loving Growth. This is Josh Morris. If you're new here, we talk about self-development, wealth, happiness, love, success, all these great things. And today I'm going to tell you about how I made $100,000, actually more, from my bedroom. Okay, I've just gotten back from snowboarding, so you can see my snowboard there, and I've stuck a nice little purple light on. Why not? So how am I making so much money from my bedroom at home in the comfort of my comfort clothes? Usually I'm not wearing a jumper and jeans. I went out today. I'm often just wearing a comfy pajamas or a robe or something, or just working from home. It's really nice. And the way I'm doing it is I'm doing something called webinars. Now, a webinar is simply a seminar, a public speech, a tele-seminar, whatever it is, but it's just online. So if you're not sure what a webinar is, go and look up webinars. It's basically just a live online show, right? Now, people are doing this on YouTube with YouTube lives. People do Instagram lives and all this stuff. So it's become really, really common. But what I've used is a company called GoToWebinar and a company called Webinar Jam. And these are companies that host live webinars. And what happens, what you do is you create a webinar on a certain topic, and I'll tell you how, and I'll tell you how I've learned this as well. But just to give you an outline, you create a webinar on a certain topic, and you set up a date for when that's going to happen. So let's say you set it up for it's going to happen in a month. You then get on these webinar platforms, you get a sign-up page where people can sign up to the live event. And just like a public speech, just like an ordinary event, a general seminar, a teleseminar, whatever it is, a general seminar where people can sign up to, they sign up to your webinar, which is an online seminar. And then when the webinar date comes around, you have your presentation ready and you sell something at the end. Now, this can be a product that you sell of your own, and I've done that with my products. And this could be an affiliate product where you're selling someone else's products, and I've done that as well. In fact, one of my most successful webinars was for an affiliate where we were just making a commission. So those are the places that you can set up a webinar. But where did I actually learn this from? So the main guy that I learned this from is someone called Jason Vladlen, right? So that's Jason. This is Jason right here in the back. So I got his book, One to Many. And this is one of his secrets, one of his books about webinars. You can see I've underlined it all. I've basically covered this book in notes. Like, this is an absolutely incredible, like all the way up to the close. Like, I've read this book inside out in order to make webinars. Something like pauses. He says add flair, add pregnant pauses. That was an example of one. Right? So a lot of stuff in this book. He says some stuff like you have to get people saying yes. So I'm constantly asking questions during a webinar, during a presentation, constantly getting people's feedback. So that's Jason Vladlen. He also has a program called Webinar Pitch Secrets, I believe it's called. There's another. He's got a few on the topic of webinars, and this guy has made 100 million on webinars. Like, he's famous for doing extremely well on webinars. I've actually, me and Shimmy, my brother, who we do Amazon business together, we were consulted by Jason personally, and he gave us an hour-long consultation and helped us with our webinars. So that really helped our webinars get pushed forward. Now, another guy that I've learned from about webinars, a more simple approach, is someone called Russell Brunson. He is the CEO, the creator of ClickFunnels. That's something that we use. ClickFunnels integrates really nicely with different webinar platforms, so I recommend that. And at the back of this book, he's got something called the perfect webinar model, right? And he calls this the perfect webinar. Now, he says that he learned a lot from Jason Vladlen. I wonder if I could find this in here. But he said that he learned a lot about webinars from Jason Vladlen when he started, right? So I can't find this in this one. No, I can't find it, but I remember he wrote in this book somewhere that he learned from Jason Vladlen. So if you're going to learn webinars, these are the guys to learn webinars. And the basics of a webinar is that you're doing public speaking, but it's just much easier because you're in the comfort of your own home and you're just relaxed. Like I do a lot of these webinars in my underwear simply because I don't even show my face. I just have a keynote presentation or a PowerPoint slide presentation, and it's all been prepared. As long as you work on the webinar before, and you can use books like this to help you create the webinar. So you've spent weeks working on this webinar. So when you finally come to the point of doing the webinar, all you're practicing is your tonality and your expression and your emotion. That's all you're doing because the rest has been prepared. Like this YouTube video, not so prepared. I've got a few notes here. I've got the books, I've got my experiences to talk about, but I haven't prepared it. So I'm floundering over my words. I don't know what to say. Deep breaths like that, like I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. But on a webinar, everything's scripted, everything's prepared, everything's carefully planned. You've done research, you've looked into the subject, you've figured out what the customer is looking for. You've practiced all the things. You can practice a webinar over and over again before you do it. So it's much easier than a YouTube video. It's prepared. It's also like, although it's like public speaking, it's like doing a seminar, it's also not, because it's so much easier to just be at home doing a webinar to 100, 300, 1,000 people, however many people, but you're still just sitting at home in the comfort of your own bedroom. And another great thing about webinars is that it's just so much easier to close sales on a webinar. So if you're thinking about doing anything sales related, if you have a business or you want to grow a business or you want to start a business, think about webinars as being a way to do it. Now, I've made 100K in sales on webinars, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep making hundreds of thousands on webinars. My webinars are going to get bigger. They're going to get better, higher converting. The funnel around the webinars are going to improve. When you start having partners and affiliates promoting a webinar, that's something that we also want to do. Running ads directly to a webinar page, that's something that we're doing as well. So webinars are just a huge part of my business, and it's something that I love doing. And I just thought I would share that on this channel as a part of Loving Growth. And let me give you a little bit more about what to put in a webinar. So Jason breaks it down into 4 steps. You've got the introduction, which is just you're showing that you are an expert in the subject. Let's say you're talking about fitness. You would bring out some fitness statistics and fitness facts to show that you're an expert. You would then talk about some of your fitness clients or clients that you've heard of, or a success story that you've seen, or your own personal experience. You'd show in the introduction that you're the expert, you have authority, you're worth listening to. That's really important. You want to do this more through other people's stories and other facts so that the audience infers that you're an expert. Instead of saying, I'm an expert on this and I'm an expert on that, you say, the facts are this, and this person got this result based on the stuff that I did. I'm not saying I'm the expert, but this is the result. So you infer that you're the expert without saying it. So that's the introduction. Then you get into the content section, and this is the meat. And although this is the content section, in the perfect webinar that Russell talks about, he barely ever actually does any content. It's all designed, and he calls this epiphany bridges. It's all designed to get your listeners from a place of, I don't believe this will work for me, and whatever story is behind that, to a place of, I do believe this will work for me, and you are the person that is going to help me get there, right? Jason says that the more content, the better. It's better to have more content and more over-delivering of value in content than it is to have less. But I think it's a lot better to help the person transform. So if you're going to give a 45-minute piece, let's use the fitness example, although we teach Amazon and there's so many different ways you could do this. But let's say you use the fitness example. Let's say you teach a workout. Instead of spending 45 minutes teaching a workout, instead spend 15 to 20 minutes teaching a workout, and intermittently between that, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, get their attention, get some back and forth, ask questions, ask polls, get the users get the listeners' interaction, and make sure that they're actually transforming, that it's sinking in. Let's say you're teaching why to do 10 push-ups in 3 sets. Instead of just saying, okay, do 10 push-ups in 3 sets and then do this. You say, do 10 push-ups in 3 sets. Do you guys understand why 3 sets of 10 is so important? And then, you get their answers. And then you say, look, really why 3 sets of 10 is important is because of this. And this is the result that you'll get from 3 sets of 10. And if you did this, you did it 3 sets of 30 or 2 sets of 10, it would be different because of this. Do you guys follow with why that is helpful? And is this going to help? You see, you can go a lot more on just one little piece of content by letting it land and helping them change their lives around that piece of content. So that's really key. So that's the content section. Then you have a transition phase where you transition from content to pitch, where you're going to sell an item. And during that transition phase, you're basically transitioning your own mind, but also their mind, right? So the first thing you want to do is sum up all the content you gave. So you say, this is what we've covered today on this webinar. We did this and this and this and this and this. And then you transition, and there's a few ways to transition. You say, now I'd love to help you even further, right? Or I'd love to go on a journey with you and help you make this transformation in your life. Right? Now I know you've learned so much in the last 45 minutes, but I want to make sure that you continue learning, right? And this can be extremely genuine, but it's to get you from that place of helping them in the content to helping them in your service or your product. So, for example, we teach how to sell on Amazon. So I love to give a lot of value on the webinar, but I can't realistically tell people how to set up an entire Amazon business via a webinar, which is why we have a course called Amazon University. So transitioning from I'm giving you value on the webinar to let's take this further, that's an important transition for both me as a presenter and also the listener. So that's the transition phase. And then you have the pitch phase where it sounds salesy, but really essentially what you're doing is you're telling them what they're getting for the value that they give you. They give you money value. You give them value in terms of knowledge, education, services, coaching, whatever it is that you're offering, a software, whatever they're being delivered, right? Your affiliate product, let's say you're selling someone else's product, whatever they happen to be getting in the value delivery, this is what you're telling them. You're telling them what they're getting. And then Jason talks about layering and closes, and I won't go into too much depth about that because, I've given you a lot of stuff to think about if this was a subject you actually wanted to learn about and you wanted to make 6 figures from your bedroom. Why wouldn't you? But no, it's not everyone's cup of tea to do webinars, so that's fine. But this is how I've done it. This is how I've made 6 figures from my bedroom, just doing webinars, presenting to 10 people, 20 people. I've presented to 5 people before, still gotten sales. It's such a great way to sell something and promote your services and promote whatever you're offering. Whether it's 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people, it's still a good thing to do. So I thought I'd share it with this channel. We're all about self-growth, self-development, self-love, self-acceptance, finance, everything related to improving your mind, bettering yourself. That's what we do on this channel of Loving Growth. So if that's the sort of thing you enjoy, then hit that subscribe button right there. I'm going to keep making videos like this, talking about wealth, happiness, love, success, all of the good things in life that we want to achieve. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and have an awesome day. Bye-bye.